Your nation, your news. One American News Network.
Earlier this month, the president of Harvard University announced that beginning with the class of 2021, meaning the students who will be entering college in 2017, those students will no longer be allowed to participate in single-sex off-campus social groups. This means fraternities, sororities, and the like. Not only that, but if a student does participate in such a group, they'll be essentially blacklisted and will be prohibited from leading a sports team or being a Rhodes Scholar. Take a look.
In a statement, Harvard President Drew Faust that while the school has opened its doors to women and minorities, the campus culture has lagged behind. Top officials at the university have been pushing the all-male groups to stop exclusions based on gender, even though they aren't officially recognized by the school.
Faust said in a letter, such as sororities and fraternities, encourage a form of self-segregation that undermines the promise offered by Harvard's diverse student body.
Joining me now is Secretary of the Enlightened Women's Harvard chapter, Emily Hall. Emily, good to see you.
Hi, Liz. Good to see you.
All right, you wrote this article exposing Harvard University, talking about this story. Give us the rundown here. What exactly is happening?
So basically, we've had these organizations called final clubs for essentially as long as Harvard has existed. Harvard derecognized the groups in 1985 because they wouldn't go co-ed. Now, they're going back at these clubs and targeting them, even though they're not recognized by the university, telling them that if they refuse to go co-ed, their members will be punished.
All right, and so their reasoning for this, Harvard University's reasoning for this, is related to sexual assault. Tell us about that.
Yes, so last spring, they conducted a campus climate survey, and this survey showed that there were some sexual assaults occurring at these clubs. However, the survey methods were very suspect and questionable, so the results are really not able to be used. However, the university has claimed that this is the reason they're targeting the clubs.
All right, when they did this study, do you know if they also conducted any study of organizations to see if sororities allowed men to join or if fraternities allowed women? If these clubs were co-ed, did the sexual assault rate go down?
They weren't able to test that.
So they based this on, it sounds to me like they based this on an agenda then. It wasn't on objective scientific research or numbers. They based this on the fact that they want those clubs to be co-ed, so they're looking to find a reason.
Exactly.
How do students feel about this?
There have been a little bit of mixed reactions, but mainly the students are completely against the decision by the administration. Students want to be in these clubs, and even students who don't want to be in the clubs are defensive of the right of other people to join the clubs they want to join.
Right, and we know that there is rampant sexual assault on campus. That's not something we're trying to ignore by criticizing Harvard University's decision here, their dictative here, but I'm not sure, Emily, and maybe you can help me understand this. I'm not sure how holding these associations, these clubs, responsible would be the answer to addressing that. It seems to me that this is a problem at an individual level, not an association level.
I totally agree. I don't think that it can be solved by sanctioning the final clubs or the fraternities and sororities for that matter, which have all been blanketed under one decision. I think that the problem with sexual assault is lying at the individual level, and in fact, 75% of the sexual assaults that Harvard is trying to address occur in its own dormitories.
Right, and that's something that I don't think we've heard a lot on the news about. Now, you're with a network of enlightened women. What's the solution? What's your solution, or the Network of Enlightened Women's solution to addressing the sexual assault that happens on campus?
I think that the solution that we should pursue is actually empowering women's groups to host their own parties, to have their own groups, and to empower people who want to be in those groups to respect each other and to have respectful relationships between men and women.
All right, and Emily, do you expect Harvard to stand strong on their stance about not letting students who are involved in these single-sex, non-recognized organizations, they're not allowed to be Rhodes Scholars, they're not allowed to lead sports teams? Do you expect Harvard to stick with that, or are they going to get pressured into going back to the way it was?
Unfortunately, I do think that they will stick with their decision based on prior actions by the administration. but I'm hoping that if enough people voice their concerns and if the final clubs have successful lawsuits, which I know they have been trying to prepare, then we could be able to reverse this damaging policy.
All right, Emily, well, you'll have to keep us updated on what does happen with those lawsuits and what happens on Harvard's campus, but I appreciate you coming on the show today. Coming up, Katie Couric's gun documentary that doesn't quite paint the truth, and the man who exposed the real story. Stephen Gutowski is here next.